Hey everyone! So, the class below me is entering into their third year. So in honor of that, I thought I would make a little video with my 7 top tips for how to succeed in clinical rotations. Number 1, know what's expected of you. Before you start the clerkship, take some time to look through the syllabus. I know they're gonna go over it with you on the first day most likely, but it never hurts to take a look and understand what you need to prepare for going into the rotation. This includes things like, how am I going to be graded? Who's going to be evaluating me? What things go into my grade and how important are they in determining my grade? Number 2, be on time and be present. This might sound obvious, but especially if the clerkship is in a specialty that you're not that interested in or don't think you'll do in the future, it bears repeating. Every single clerkship has something to offer you, and you will learn things from that clerkship, even if you're not interested in it originally. There's a reason why they're called the core clerkships. Every single one contains skills and knowledge that you can use regardless of what specialty you go into in the future, so it's worth paying attention. Be on time. A little early might actually be better. Participate in patient care and do stuff. That's what you're there to do. Number 3, know your patients. As the medical student, you are able to spend the most time with the patient, regardless of whether you're on an inpatient or outpatient rotation. Especially in the first part of your third year, you will probably be assigned to 1 or 2 patients. So take your time getting to know them. Read through their chart. Look at previous progress notes. Really take the time to understand their lab values, their medical histories, all of that information. Learning from your patients rather than from a review book is probably one of the best ways to learn and remember material, because a lot of the time you'll end up associating conditions with a patient that you've taken care of. Plus, it's much easier to read through a research article or a page on UpToDate if you know that that information will help you take care of your patient better. Number 4, be proactive and helpful. As a medical student, you're there to learn, but you don't have the certifications and the qualifications to actually provide direct patient care. And so a lot of the time, it can feel like you're just being a burden on the residents and the attendings who are supervising you. A good way to make up for this and to try and see and do more in the process is to offer your help whenever you can. For example, if you're on an inpatient rotation and a patient comes into the ED and your resident needs to admit that patient, but they're doing like a million things at the same time, you can ask them, hey, can I go see that patient first and take a history and do a physical exam before you come in, to make your life a little easier. More often than not, they'll say yes. And if they don't, they'll usually offer for you to come with them and take the lead on the history and physical, with them filling in any gaps. A related point to this is that on inpatient rotations especially, you might be asked to do some other peripheral tasks, such as calling primary care providers, talking with family members, calling the lab and making sure that a lab gets drawn, things like that. Those kinds of tasks might feel like scut work, but they are actually important for patient care. So if you have the opportunity to do those, do them. You're gonna have to do them as an intern or a resident anyway, and it's a good time to learn how to talk to attendings from other specialties, staff inside the hospital, and other people who aren't on your team. Number 5, understand the balance. Throughout your clinical rotations, you'll encounter a balance between 2 things that should be more related, but often seem to directly oppose each other. The first is the way that patient care is practiced in real life. The second is the stuff that's tested on your exam at the end of the rotation. Sometimes you'll see that the next best test is not the test that is ordered in real life. Or you'll see that the standard treatment that is talked about on multiple choice questions is not necessarily the treatment that your attending will give to a patient. These discrepancies can be really frustrating, but it's also a good opportunity for learning. Sometimes it's also worth remembering that the real life answer and the exam answer are just gonna differ sometimes, and you'll just have to remember both. Number 6, residents and attendings are generally not trying to trick you. The biggest place where this advice is important is when an attending or resident tells you to leave. If they say you can go, just go. Don't think that they're trying to test how dedicated you are. If they're telling you to go, just go home. They're not lying. They're not trying to trick you. Just do it. And finally, number 7, take care of yourself. There will be rotations where you're working 60, maybe even more hours every single week. You might feel that you need to sacrifice sleep or exercise or a good diet or time with family and friends in order to do well on the exam. The balance between life and medicine is something that we're going to be struggling with for the rest of our careers, and it's probably only going to get worse, at least until residency's over. But remember that third year is long, it can be pretty isolating, and it's very draining. So be sure to take some time for yourself. You can't provide good patient care or score well on exams if you get sick and you aren't taking care of yourself. If we can't maintain good health for ourselves, it's that much harder to treat our patients well. We have to put our own oxygen mask on first before helping others. Those are my 7 tips for doing well on clinical rotations. Hopefully they can be helpful to you no matter which rotation you're doing. And now, because it's the end of another month, I'm going to put in some footage that I filmed throughout the course of the month. That's all for my video this month. See you in the next one.